told you it was love. They convinced you it was normal. They made you believe the problem was you. But somewhere beneath the confusion, the self-doubt, the endless explanations that never quite made sense, you knew something was wrong. This is where we stop pretending. This is where we examine what they never wanted you to see. The patterns that controlled you, the systems that protected them. If you found that the smallest, most everyday interactions in your family or relationship, like asking for help, mentioning a preference, or expressing a mild concern, triggered disproportionate fights and arguments, you're not imagining it. Maybe you suggested a different restaurant for dinner, and suddenly you're selfish and never consider anyone else's feelings. Or you asked someone to lower their voice during a phone call, and it became a 2-hour battle about how controlling and demanding you are. These weren't normal disagreements. They were volcanic eruptions over absolutely nothing, leaving you confused and wondering what you did wrong. Welcome back to the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'm Lynn, your host. Today, we're diving into why the person who scapegoated you turned every minor interaction into World War III, and why this pattern had nothing to do with you. This pattern of exploding over trivial matters is a deliberate control mechanism used by whoever's scapegoating you in narcissistic family systems and relationships. It's not random, and it's not because they have anger management issues. It's strategic. Stirring conflict over simple things keeps you disoriented and on the defensive, preventing you from asserting your needs or standing your ground. Think about it. When you're constantly walking on eggshells, afraid that any small request might trigger a massive fight, you stop making requests altogether. When expressing a preference leads to accusations that you're impossible to please, you stop expressing preferences. This is exactly the outcome they're after. The person who needs to maintain superiority can't afford to let you have opinions, needs, or boundaries without consequences. Every time you assert yourself, even in the smallest way, it threatens their position as the one who gets to dictate reality. So they escalate minor interactions into major conflicts to train you out of having a voice. You might have experienced a parent raging when you chose different activities or friends, framing your independence as betrayal or disrespect. Perhaps a sibling would blow up over harmless jokes you made, twisting them into evidence of your supposed selfishness or cruelty. In adult partnerships, the person avoiding accountability might escalate your request for alone time into accusations of neglect, abandonment, or not caring about the relationship. Even setting simple boundaries can provoke intense anger designed to make you question whether your feelings are valid. Ask them to knock before entering your room, and suddenly you're ungrateful and secretive. Request that they don't comment on your appearance, and you're oversensitive and can't take a joke. What this reveals is that whoever needs to stay superior fears losing control over the narrative. They refuse to tolerate any dissent or independence from you because your autonomy threatens their ability to stay in the dominant position. Every fight is really them saying, "How dare you act like your thoughts and feelings matter as much as mine?" These conflicts also serve another purpose. They create chaos that distracts from the real issues. While you're busy defending yourself against accusations of being difficult for asking them to respect your time, you're not focusing on their pattern of disrespecting your time. While you're arguing about whether you're too sensitive for not wanting to be criticized, you're not addressing their pattern of constant criticism. The person who turns everything into a fight understands that keeping you in reactive mode prevents you from seeing the bigger picture. If every interaction becomes about managing their emotions and defending your character, you don't have space to step back and notice that this isn't normal relationship conflict. Normal people can handle being asked to do things differently without having a meltdown. Healthy individuals don't need to punish others for having preferences or setting boundaries, but the person scapegoating you can't handle these basic aspects of human interaction because they require acknowledging that you're a separate person with valid needs. They're also banking on your desire for peace and connection. Most scapegoats are people pleasers who hate conflict and will do almost anything to restore harmony. They know that if they make every small request into a painful battle, you'll eventually stop making requests. If they turn every boundary into a war, you'll stop setting boundaries. This dynamic also isolates you from your own inner voice. When expressing any need or preference results in being told you're wrong, selfish, or impossible, you start doubting your own perceptions. You begin to believe that maybe you are too demanding, too sensitive, too difficult. That's exactly what they want, for you to question yourself instead of questioning their behavior. What makes this particularly crazy-making is how they can function normally with other people. They don't scream at their boss for giving feedback. They don't turn their friend's suggestion into evidence of disrespect. But with you, everything becomes a federal case because you're the safe target, the one who'll stick around and try to fix things. The painful truth is, you were never the instigator of these fights. You were the convenient target of someone else's need to avoid responsibility and maintain control. These battles were less about the content and more about maintaining power by positioning you as the problem. Every argument over simple things was really them saying they can't handle being in a relationship with someone who has their own thoughts and feelings. Your requests weren't unreasonable. Your boundaries weren't selfish. Your preferences weren't attacks on them. Their inability to respect basic human needs was the problem, not your having those needs. You weren't too much when you asked for consideration. You weren't dramatic when you wanted basic respect. You weren't wrong for thinking that normal requests shouldn't result in explosive fights. The person who made everything a battle was someone who couldn't tolerate your humanity. So here's your reflection question. When you think about those frequent fights over small things, how does recognizing their true purpose change your understanding of your role in those conflicts? This is Lynn, and this has been another episode of the Narcissistic Abuse Recovery Podcast. I'll see you in the next one. Visit our website at movingforwardafterabuse.com for articles, resources, and more support on your recovery journey.
Few things are as uplifting as the greatest moments in sports. And nothing brings us together quite like Team USA at the Olympic Winter Games. From NBC Universal's iconic storytelling to the innovative technology across Xfinity and Peacock, Comcast brings the Olympic Games home to America, sharing every moment with millions. When Team USA steps onto the world stage, we're not just watching, we're cheering together. This winter, we're all on the same team. Comcast, proud partner of Team USA.
This work is hard, really hard. Questioning everything you were taught, seeing systems that were invisible, sitting with truth that change how you see the world. It's exhausting and overwhelming sometimes. There's no timeline for this, no right way to process it. We've gone daily now because these conversations matter. Subscribe so new episodes land automatically when they drop.